All right, guys, we are back here. I got another great guest for you guys. Somebody I met off Podmatch. Obviously, I share somewhat of an empath or something with him because he having MS. With my grandfather, and I do just having a disability in general. Like, I'm so empathetic for what anybody goes through. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, you feel for anybody that's going through something, right? You wish they weren't going through it, but I can attest to this as a person with a disability. It's easy to get into a mindset where you just feel sorry for yourself and you feel cursed and broken, and it's easy to just be like, hey man, like, I have no use or value because of this one thing that everyone notices. But the reality of it is like one of our superpowers. If you can come and you can grab onto it and figure it out and discover it, you can realize that you can kind of do anything. It's just you can't do it how everyone else does it. Just a difference. I can't do what everyone does through a perfect sight, because that's not my world. And so I always appreciate when I talk to people with disabilities, regardless if it's similar to mine or not. I always appreciate what they bring to the table, because I always respect them, because they're warriors at the end of the day. Like, every day, when people from the military come back, they say thank you for your service. But there's a lot of people that fight every day. They just don't have weapons. Every day they fight their demons, and instead of being a piece of shit and burdening society with their mental filth and just their pain, they decide to be a good person and try to make a difference. And that, to me, is as beautiful and as powerful as anything out there. So anyway, we have another guest like that. So you want to tell us your name, buddy, and a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, TJ. My name's Robert Cardillo. I go by B-Cide. I was diagnosed with MS in 2011. I actually wrote a book about it called Myelin My Shoes, but it's about the myelin that's actually part of your nerves that coats your nerves. That's what it's called, Myelin, and that it sounds like Myelin My Shoes. So I did like a little play on words there. I'm better known as B-Side, and I have been a rapper for the last 25 years. And, this book kind of documents my life, where I have gone through normal life and quote unquote normal life. And then I get into like the MS diagnosis and how I pushed through it and everything like that. And how it's changed me, and then how I built myself back up and started doing shit, my way, and just not caring at all, just kind of being an MS warrior for it.
Yeah, I think, not to just even keep it in the rap field, but I think when 50 Cent said it best, he said one of the most gangster things ever is when someone just lives their life the way they want. And
Yep.
and that hit me, because I'm like, yes, because that's what I'm trying to do: live my life the way I want, not just as a visual impaired person, but just the way TJ would like to live my life.
Absolutely.
Surround myself with things that I love, whether it's animals or music or good people.
Yep.
And just, I'm a colorful person, so I like to match my outfits, and so I started to double down on who I was and what I liked, instead of trying to always impress other people and try to bend myself to what other people would approve of.
I definitely feel that.
Well, I mean, I think, and I'm sure you could attest to this as somebody with a disability. I think, especially early on, it takes a while for you to really process what it is you have. Like, you have this whole new world, or a whole new way of living your life, and you're like, what the hell is this? And then you kind of go through like a mourning stage. Like, you feel sorry for
Right.
yourself, and you're like, shit, like, I can't do this and I can't do that. And it's just because you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're trying to do it the way you used to do it, with a
You're
fully abled body.
Yep. Yep. And I'll tell you, like, when I first got diagnosed with it, I talk about this in my book, but when I first got diagnosed, the doctor that I saw, he was awful. I live in Utica, New York. It's kind of like a little shithole city.
Uh huh.
It's got 63,000 people in it, and it's not the greatest for healthcare. So the doctor's like, oh, take these shots, you'll be fine. So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. The thing I was thinking is, I'm just glad it's not ALS, because if it was ALS, it's a death sentence.
True.
My best friend, his father died of ALS, and it's just a horrible disease, So that was the one thing I was happy about. But he told me to take these shots, and I just keep noticing I'm just progressing and getting worse. So I end up seeing these doctors in Rochester, New York, and they're absolutely wonderful. They actually got me set up with a proper MRI, and everything. It was just a great experience going there and actually being told what I had,
Right.
And how it's going to affect me and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good thing, was meeting the right doctors. I mean, meeting the right doctors is definitely a good thing.
Oh yeah, just for the little basic maintenance things for my
Yeah.
eyes, like my eyelashes, they curl under and they scratch my cornea, so most of my lashes
Uh-huh.
are gone. And
Okay.
there's times where my doctor is not there, and they'll take me in like the little walk-ins, and the doctors or the nurses or the techs or whatever they are, like they're good, but like
Yeah.
how you're supposed to pull my lashes, you're supposed to grab them and pull them out, and
Uh,
everyone else would just kind of cut them at the base. But when you do that, you leave like a little bump that's like jaggedy, and now when you blink, it's poking your eye. And
I see.
so sometimes I would just end up 2 days later right back there, but now my doctor's taking care of it. So like that's just something basic too. But like it's amazing how
Yeah.
much a doctor, like when you grow in a rapport, and you
Right.
have some sort of camaraderie, and they know you, and they just bring you in. And anytime you call, they'll just bring you right in. They'll fit you in your schedule, on their schedule. I mean,
Right.
and yeah, it's amazing how like comforting it is.
Right.
It's very nice. As I said, I mean, as a person myself who has other health issues as well, it's like, man, it's always good to know when someone understands you and just takes care of you, because it's, there's a lot. I don't know about you, but I've dealt with a lot of anxiety in my life too, panic attacks and things, and there's a lot of
Oh, well,
times. Oh yeah,
okay.
when you have health issues, a lot of times when like my eyes are very severe, but a lot of times when I'll start to spiral, like I'll start to have some pain in my chest, and I'll be like, oh no, oh, what's that?
Oh,
And so I try not to be a hypochondriac. I think I'm one of those like on the fence, because I don't go to the ER for everything,
okay.
and I've gotten a lot better at it. But like I think it's just to me, my health is probably the most important thing to me.
Right. I get you. I get you. Well, I'll tell you what. I was never like that. I actually had a blood clot in my leg that turned into a pulmonary embolism,
Wow.
and I just thought it was a Charlie horse in my leg. So here I am walking around with this thing for like 12 days. And then I go to the ER, and they're like, oh, well, you have a blood clot. You need to be in a wheelchair right now, so you're not walking on this. So I end up spending the next like 8 days in the hospital on blood thinners and stuff like that. And then I had no idea it could kill me, you know? And so I wasn't thinking like that at all. But then I find out about that shit, and I'm like, wow, that is ridiculous. So, I mean, I actually made an album called Pulmonary Embolism, and I have a song called Happy to Be Alive on it. And I actually wrote it about that particular situation. That came out in 2011.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I nearly died as a child, and in a way, it. I mean, I'm happy when it happened, because I didn't have any depression, anxiety, I didn't know what mental health was at the time. But in a way, I wish it happened maybe later, because I would have probably have a much more of appreciation for life. And I do now. I've got there, but it took me a while to get here. It just started even this year, where I started to be like, man, I love my life. It's not perfect, but
I,
I love it. And I feel like a lot of it is because all the bad things happened to me when I was a kid. So it just made me cover up, and it made me bitter and resentful and all that. And it just, when I finally started to get into my 20s, all I did was just kind of hate myself and hate life. And then finally in my 30s, I started pulling it all together.
Good. Good.
But it took a while, and I think some of it is because it happened. You know, I was supposed to die. Like, that happened when I was a kid. I don't remember 99% of it.
Gotcha.
So it now it's like, man, like I said this in like a TikTok video where it's like, you know, I kept praying and just wishing for some sort of miracle, and I think I just forgot that I kind of was the miracle.
Right.
Yeah. But so you said you got diagnosed. What was it? 2011.
2011. Yeah.
Okay. What was your? I mean, what was some of the huge changes you had to make? Because obviously you lived a pretty, you know, you lived a lot. I don't know. How old are you?
I am 42 right now.
Right. So you lived like half of your life before having MS. So you kind of know, you can see the differences and what it was like before and after.
Right. And you know, that's the thing that really was hard to get over.
Sure.
Like, the thing is, like, being on stage
Uh-huh.
and performing for people. I'll tell you, it's better than sex. I don't even know how to describe it. It is the most enjoyable feeling that I've ever had in my life. It is so something like that is hard to let go of. Not being able to do that because heat. I'm sensitive to heat. I'm sensitive to everything that has to do with the stage, pretty much.
Sure.
Like, you know, like, and like heat would make my walking bad, but now I'm in a wheelchair, so it would be even worse to go on stage in the chair for me. You know, not a lot of these clubs are handicap accessible and stuff, so
Sure.
it's not like be getting on stage very easily unless I had like a whole crew with me or whatever. But yeah, I mean, dealing with all the changes, yes. I would notice little things here and there. Like, I thought I had a pinched nerve at first. Like, my left arm was numb for years. I just thought I had pinched a nerve, but it was really MS. And I should have went to a doctor. If I went to a doctor, they would have put me on medication, and these medications stopped the progression. So I would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But now the medication that I'm on, you know, it stopped the progression, but it's already progressed. So that's what's fucked up about it, you know?
Sure.
And so, but, you know, I'm happy right now with where I'm at. And I guess that's really why I wrote the book and everything, is because I'm happy with where my life's at. And it was time to like come out with like the story and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm not famous by any means, you know, and people in my little niche of genre people know who I am. And you know, I just feel like this is literally going to work in the reverse way with the book. People are going to find this book and read about me and then want to experience the music, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. Have you performed since having MS?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I have not. And actually, like, there were times like I was thinking about doing a show or something like that, and I was actually like booked on something, and then I just backed out of it. And I'm not like that, you know. Like, I don't back out of shit, and that was just something I just couldn't do it, and it's just sad, you know. But such is life. I mean, and I got over it. There's nothing that I could do about it, so I just continued pushing on.
Yeah. Do you have you created music since?
Yes.
Okay.
I still create music, and that is actually one of the reasons why I think that I haven't gone mentally insane yet. Um, because the music is what really keeps me grounded. I actually released an album in 2024, the end of 2024, and it's probably some of my best work to date. I have I've done some tracks. I don't know if you're familiar with like the underground of rap or anything,
A
but
little bit.
like I have Shaggy Two Dope from the Insane Clown Posse on it.
Yep, I know who
I
that
have
is.
uh, I have Chris Calico. I don't know if you're
Yeah, he's
familiar with
with
him.
Tech Nine. Yeah.
With Tech Nine, yes.
Yeah.
And I have a song with Corrupt from the Dog Pound.
Okay.
I
West
don't know.
Coast. Yep.
Yeah. And then I have a song with Bizarre from
Yeah.
B12.
B12. Yep.
And then I also have a couple tracks with some guys from the underground named Clockwork E. And then another dude named Clep that's from a group called the Bio Killers.
Okay.
And I've just been, I was trying to promote that and everything. And it actually didn't work out the way that I really wanted it to. And it was just one of those things that kind of got me depressed and in a funk. And that's really when I decided to write this book, so that's really what got me out of like the whole funk. Because when I'm creating something, I'm not in pain anymore. And I'm in pain every single day, like head to toe pain. Yeah, and it's just something that I deal with. But like when I'm talking to you because I'm on this podcast, I don't feel pain. When I'm working on a song, I don't feel pain. When I'm working on like a website or something from what I'm doing, I feel no pain. It's just a very weird thing, and I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I think there are times even for me because I have a little chronic pain or my eyes are what they are. There are moments that I can kind of just turn it off. I mean, I feel like one of my superpowers with my vision is I don't use a dog. I don't use a cane or anything. I have a little bit of sight. I use it to my best of my
Okay.
ability. But when I get around, a lot of times I'm just so in tune with my surroundings, especially if I've been there before. I just kind
Okay.
of flow right through it and just, I can kind of sense when things are close if I'm not paying attention. And so I don't know.
Okay.
There's times where I can kind of turn off that even a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's weird because someone asked me the other day on the TikTok live. They were like, "So what's it like being legally blind?" And I'm like, I don't really know how to explain it to you because one, I don't know how you see, and you don't know how I see, so I can't really
Right.
compare. I mean, I lost most of my sight when I was 4, so I can't tell you what it's like to see properly,
Right.
and I can't
Right.
compare it to you because I don't know what you see. So I just, I can explain my left eye because it's just colors and motions, but my right eye is very complicated because I have a little bit of
Okay.
sight, but it's blurry and it's, it's whatever. But it's always a challenge to try to explain it to somebody who doesn't understand.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah, but I mean, so many people like feel terrible and they're like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And it's like, no, do I seem like I'm down? I promise you, like I wear my emotions on my sleeve, so if I'm
Hmm.
depressed, if I'm angry.
I hear.
So just come in with positivity. Like all people with disabilities ever want, like one thing, if there's one thing that we want is just treat us like we're any other person. We're not normal.
Right.
We know that. But normal, no
Right.
one, no one wants to be normal, whatever the hell that is. But
Yeah.
we just want to be treated like you would treat any other person.
Right. Right. Like I hate when people are like, "Oh, you got MS. I'm sorry." Well, don't be sorry. It's all right. Like that shit happens.
Yeah.
Just it's all right. You can empathize with it. You don't have to be sorry for me. I don't want sympathy for it.
No, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I was just thinking, like, I think it would be powerful. Like, I'm gonna go and listen to some of your stuff, but if you have a song kind of just explaining the MS and just your life, I think it would be powerful for the first time you get on stage and you just whatever
Oh,
acapella or whatever and just go into a song and just let your emotions out and just do it.
right. I hear that. And to tell you the truth, I haven't made a song about the MS yet. I have not made a song about the MS. That is something that is going to be, it's going to have to be right, I guess. Because, like, I don't know if you believe in God or anything.
I do, yeah.
But it's like the spirit has to kind of, like, tell me what is going on with the music. Like, I don't even know how to tell you sometimes how I create things. I can say it's the closest to God that I ever could be.
Sure.
Because sometimes I don't even know how I write things. It just kind of comes out of me. So I get in that zone, and I've never found the right music to write that song about MS to. You know, like when I was in the hospital for the pulmonary embolism, I found that beat while I was in the hospital on the phone. So I'm like, screw this. I'm going to find something. And it totally worked with what I was doing. And I wrote it down, and then when I got home, I turned it into a song. But with the MS, I haven't done it yet. Like, I'll talk about little things here and there. Like, I take this pill called delphampridine, and it's supposed to help you. They call it the walking pill, but obviously it hasn't helped me walk. But it might help me being able to stand up, because I can stand up with a sit-to-stand machine.
Sure.
So in a line in one of my songs, I say, taking delphampridine just to stand up. Got to find a reason to get myself up. And it's just like there's little lines in songs that I'll just pick out certain things, and I'll insert little things here and there. But I haven't done the song exactly about MS.
I just the irony of me is I'm a very visual person, so I can, like, as you're talking, I'm just kind of envisioning you on stage, just like the room is darkly lit, but then like you're in your wheelchair, you're got your microphone, and maybe there's like a clip that's played of you previously, rapping while standing, and then now you're just doing a newer track of you just kind of explaining where you once were and where you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah. Because I think it, again, man, everybody loves a comeback story.
Yep.
And, unfortunately for people like us, man, we don't have a lot of people to look up to, meaning people like us. We don't have a lot of MS celebrities. We don't have a lot of blind or visually impaired celebrities. There's not a lot of them.
No.
And a lot of them, when they do succumb to a disability, you never see them again.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you see what's happening to Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is going through hell. Now, again, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just agreeing with you, saying, like, yeah, he's not around either.
No, he's one of the biggest actors ever.
Right. He's got a horrible thing going on right now. And, they should be advocating for this disease. Like, and I even talk about in the book about how celebrities, there's Selma Blair, Jack Osbourne, and Montel Williams that I can name right off my head that have MS, but they're paid by Big Pharma. There's podcasts from these people. They're sponsored by the big pharmacies. It's like they don't have a voice. You're backed by Big Pharma. What are you going to tell me that has anything to do with my life? You have so much money. This asshole, Selma Blair, literally went and shaved her head. Did you see that? That she shaved her head bald? It's like, you have MS. You don't have cancer. Right. There's no reason to shave your head bald. Right. Like, that is some stupid shit that just gets on my nerves. And it's like, you know what? If I was in Hollywood and I had money saved up, I wouldn't be the way that I was either. I'd be fine. They'd have not a cure necessarily, but some way to make my life a little better than it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know who the rapper Ab-Soul is?
No.
He's a West Coast guy. He's like in Kendrick Lamar's crew. Anyway, he's a pretty well-known rapper, but he had or has the same condition I do, which is Stephen Johnson syndrome.
Oh,
So he's the only rapper that when he wears sunglasses indoors, it's legitimate. Like his eyes are
oh,
very sensitive to the light.
gotcha.
And the basketball, Manute Bol had it. The guy who's like 7'5", 7'6",
Yeah,
whatever it was. He had it too. He didn't pass away from that. He passed away from something else. But yeah, unfortunately, there's not like there's. If you just want to go Marvel DC, like I have Daredevil, and so there's that.
yeah,
But yeah, there's not. I mean, I guess you can kind of go with the X-Men. So you can go
yeah.
Professor X is in a wheelchair. So there's that.
Right,
I mean, yeah. Well, so we have that, but as far as like real, I mean, even like Stevie Wonder, like he just was a blind, musician, but I never really heard him doing anything for blind people.
right, right. Even Ray Charles, like I don't know if he did anything for blind people. I
Yeah.
mean, I know there's a movie about him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. With Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I don't know. And again, maybe he did. I don't want to say he didn't. But I had
Yeah.
somebody on here, and it was a few years ago because I've been doing this for 5 years now.
Okay.
And I had somebody on, and she was talking about how she advocates for women and for black people because she was a black woman. And I said, okay, that's awesome. I said, but do you advocate for people with disabilities? Because she had a disability, and she was like, no, I just never thought about it. I'm like, you gotta like, I get it. It's nothing wrong with advocating for black people or for women, but don't forget
Right.
your disability, man. Everyone seems to forget about that. Everyone seems to just throw that to the side and say everything else is more important than disability. It's not, because the
Right.
reality of it is our community is a part of every community. There's gay people in our community, there's straight people, there's white, black, Jamaican, Asian, Haitian, Dominican, whatever. Short,
Yes.
tall, everybody is included. And
Yeah.
women, men, like we are all in that community. So why don't you advocate for that? Because when you advocate for disability, you're essentially advocating for all people, because at some point we're all going to succumb to some disability. Because
True.
when we get older, we're going to need either glasses or hearing aids or canes or some sort of excessive or accessible device. So
Right.
why aren't you advocating for your grandparents? Why aren't you advocating for many people that look just like
True.
you? And I feel like disability is the one group that just I don't know what it is, and I think part of it is like there's a lot of us that don't want to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of deaf people saying, I'm not deaf, I speak another language, or you
Right.
you got the inner cell fighting, which is like, you're not blind enough, or you're not you're not paralyzed enough, or you're only missing one leg, you're legally blind, you're not blind. Like there's a lot of inner fighting, and a lot of the fighting that they did in the 90s, where they risked their lives and they fought for the American Disability Act. When they did all that, they fought together, all disabilities. And now I feel like so many of us are so separated, and
Yeah.
we don't.
They have a color. They have a color for every disability.
Right.
They have a ribbon for every disability. You're right. You're right. People don't get on the same page and just be like, I have a disability. And I guess I'm guilty of that too, because I, share orange stuff for MS awareness and stuff like that. And, but I guess like with the way I've framed this book and everything, I am kind of like looking out for disabled people, because I think disabled people do get the short end of the stick all the time. Like we're young, and the people that take care of us are usually pieces of shit. I don't know how it is with you, but like durable medical equipment companies, they're awful. The wheelchair that I sit in every day, it's awful. I'm in an electric wheelchair. You'd think it'd be like a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or something like that.
Mhm.
Not at all. It's made out of metal, and it's got like all this, just this like crappy little foam padding on it. And then they got the guy that comes out and services it that thinks that he's the fucking end all be all with wheelchairs. And it's just bad. These places don't care. It's just more money from insurance companies.
Well, for how shitty it is, it's like $40,000.
Yes.
That's the crazy part. That's what you can't forget. Like, it's not like this is just some $1,000 chair. No,
Right.
especially for the electric ones, because I used to work at a
Yeah.
center for independent living, and we had a bunch of them.
Okay.
And we had a couple of them that were easily 20, 30 grand, and we had one that was 60 grand. I mean,
Wow.
now it
Yep.
lifted you up, and it did a lot of cool things, but it's 60
Yep.
grand. That's a car.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I get it. It really helps, and it's very needed for a person. But we would give it
Yep.
away for free because it was donated
Yeah.
to us. But if someone were to buy this with their, if they didn't have insurance or good
Right.
insurance, they're paying half or most of this or all of it, 60 grand for this thing.
Yep. And truth, it's not worth $60,000.
No.
This thing's a pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's made for paraplegics and quadriplegics that can't feel certain parts of their body. And for them, I'm sure that these chairs work out absolutely perfectly, But for people like me, I can still feel everything. And I'm getting jerked around and jacked up in this chair. It's actually made my condition worse, if you can believe it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also think like a huge problem with us is that there's so many variations to us, right? Like let's just say, I don't know, black people, right? Just in this country, there's Americanized black people. Then there's the fighting between dark skin versus light skin, and then ones from other countries and the ones from America. But that's 3 or 4 different types. But with disabilities, It's like even if you're blind, you're not legally blind. You're not visually impaired. You're not a light deficiency. Even if you have MS, you may have mobility, you may not. And then we're just talking about different variations of those disabilities, not including Tourette's and amputees and quadriplegics and people with dwarfism and it goes on and
Right.
on and on. Mental health. So
Right.
yeah, so it's really hard to. In a way, I do sometimes because I've leaned into this disability advocate thing, and I've gone out and I've fought for caregivers to make more money and things like that. But I will say
great.
it is really hard for everyone, for all of us to be accommodated, because when I did this little what do you call it, training at the Center for Independent Living here, and it was essentially teaching you how to find out if a place is accessible or not. And so we went into a hotel, and my team went into an accessible suite room, and a lot of it made a lot of sense. But there were some things where it's like, this needs to have 18 inches here and 18 inches there and this and that. And some of it made a lot of sense. And then there were some things where I'm just like, I think we're nitpicking here. Like, I feel like there's a part of this that we're just nitpicking. And I can see why people roll their eyes like, oh, God, now they want this and they want that. Because they were measuring where the braille labeling was, like how high is it on the wall, is it reachable for someone this short and that tall. And I'm like, all right, like I don't know, as a person who can read braille, I don't care.
Right.
Hold on, I really don't care. And yeah, I don't know, man. I felt like there was some of it that was really like for real nitpicking, but anyway, sorry, my cat knocked over a thing, and I don't know if you said anything, but it muted your mic. So.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. So if you said something while I was talking, no, I mean I heard it only when I was in that last 10 seconds. Yeah.
I was good.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, but I think that's one of the hardest things, because it's like so many we want to find. To me personally, I want to find a real balance on how can we make the world more accessible for everybody.
Right.
But it's hard because each disability needs a lot of different things.
That is very true. It's not like a one-size-fits-all thing.
No, it's not. Like what is good for you might not even be good for me, and vice versa. Right? Like I don't have mobility issues, but you don't have sight issues. So what do we do with that, right? So we have to find some sort of medium. And I think sometimes, like I said, when I was doing that training, I felt there was some of it was just like, all right, are we just saying it because there's some of it where we just go, can we just let that go? Like, that's not that bad. Like, it's a half an inch off. Why do we care? Like, just let it go. And I can see when people kind of roll their eyes where it's like, oh God. But at the same time, it's like I feel like you would say oh God to anything we want too. So there's both sides of it, because I know there are people that just don't want to even give an inch on anything that we want. It's like, well,
Right.
why can't you make these menus, like make the writing a little bigger? Not just for me, but people who are elderly or people who wear glasses. Like, why don't you just make the writing a little bigger? I'm not saying make it
Yeah,
in large print, but make a little bit of an effort.
I got you. Yeah. You know what? I never really think about that with a menu at a restaurant or something like that. And like, I'm a graphic designer too. Like, I've designed everything, and I would never think about that for a menu. To tell you the truth, that's actually a good call
Yeah,
to make the bigger. I would never think about that.
and that's something just small.
Yeah,
Um,
that is a small thing, but I would never think about it.
yeah,
Being a person that can see everything. And I wear glasses. Without my glasses, I can't see anything really. But I could only imagine what it would be like for somebody that can't see.
yeah, yeah. And again, like I can use my phone and zoom in with my camera, or a lot of them have those little barcode things that you scan and you can pull up the
Yeah.
menu, so you can do that. But there are some men. I mean, I was at this one place a couple months ago, and their menus were small for my grandma, who has way better sight than I do, and she
Oh,
couldn't see it. So I was like, well, I'm not even gonna try. So we basically, and
yeah.
she's like, oh, we're just working on the menus right now, and so we basically just had to ask her what they had.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's just like a huge disappointment, because it's like you don't even have a menu, let alone let alone something with a little bigger writing. And I think sometimes when you start asking for things, they start thinking, how much is this going to cost? And
Oh, right.
and it's like most things aren't going to cost that much.
Right.
They're not. And there's a lot of funding for these things too, like those curb cutouts and things like that. Like you can get funding for that. It's just no
Mhm.
one wants to make that effort. They just say, nah, we'll just let it be shitty. And it's like, no, man. Like, and again, unfortunately, and I look at it this way in the whole world, right? Like when, let's just say slavery happened, right? White people became the shittiest people, but to me, it's always about who is at the top of the pyramid, who gets there, and then they make all the rules for them. So it's the same thing with able-bodied people, right? Like the majority of them, and the ones who were disabled, they just kind of got thrown in camps and killed and all kind of awful things. But the ones who
Right.
were able-bodied, they made the rules for them, and so everyone
Hmm.
else has to suffer. Again, we're getting better, obviously, but like you said earlier, like I feel like disability is still too far behind, and it shouldn't be
It
at
is.
this point,
It is.
because we're the biggest minority, and it's not even close. And there's billions of us, and yet I think I looked, it's like almost like a little over 4 billion of us, and it's like, so
Wow.
not in this country. I think it's in this
Like worldwide.
worldwide, yeah. But I mean, 4 billion people have to, and again,
Yeah.
I bet there's a bunch of them they're not even counting. I bet there's a lot of people with severe mental health they're not counting, or people with chronic pain that are not counting, because not every disabilities are not all created equal, for better or for
Right.
worse. There's a lot of people that are trying to get disability and they can't get it because they just have lupus, right? And lupus is a real thing. It's a severe thing, but they don't look at lupus like they look at a guy in a wheelchair or a guy with a blind stick.
Right.
And it's not
Right.
fair, because their disability is just as severe. It's just different.
Right. Like, it took me forever to get on disability. I'm on Social Security disability right now.
Sure.
Took me forever to get on it. It took like 3 years. And then they owed me all those 3 years after I got it. And I get paid peanuts anyway. So it's like, how do you expect somebody to live on this per month, first of all? And then second of all, you have these judges that are trying to tell you whether or not somebody's disabled
Uh,
based upon what? If your doctor's like, you're disabled, hello, you're disabled. That's the way it should be. But then you have people that scam the system, and that's what screws it up for us,
yeah.
because we really need this. And then there's people that scam the system that'll go on their ladder after they say they're disabled and go paint a house or some shit like that because they got a bad back, but then they're on the ladder. Go make sense of that.
Sure. I interviewed a disability lawyer some months back, and
Oh,
she was letting me know kind of some of the tricks and the trades to like how it all works, and a lot of it, there's like 5 stages to it, and one of the main stages is it's really about how your doctor fills out certain paperwork. And
gotcha.
if your doctor just says you're disabled, that's not good enough. Like your doctor has to be very extensive on what it is that you're going through, why you can't work, how much, like how your disability affects your daily, like it's more about how it affects your life and prevents you from working. But if your doctor just says, hey, they're blind, hey, they have MS, that's not enough. They have to really explain why, because it's all about why you can't work. And
Right.
so, yeah.
Which is why it would actually explain it, because why I got denied first was the original doctors that I would see in my current city in Utica. And then driving about 3 hours away in Rochester, when they filled out the paperwork, everything was fine.
Okay, yeah. Well, and I will say, I think everybody gets denied at least 2 or 3 times before they get it. I don't know for me for sure because I was a kid, so I really don't know. But I know most
Right.
people get denied 2 or 3 times, and then they get the back pay that they're owed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. But it's just,
It,
yeah. It's kind of, you get lucky. Sometimes you may get it sooner, and again, like I said, a lot of times it comes down to how your doctor fills, what paperwork it fills out, and how it fills it out. But there's sometimes you'll still get denied, and again, some disabilities they look at right off the bat.
right.
Like I said, like blindness. So unfortunately, like disabilities, like they go based on like obvious like tropes of what a disability is, right? They see a wheelchair, it's like, oh, you're disabled, oh, you're blind, you're deaf, you're what, like they can see the obvious accessories that you come with, and they're like, oh, that makes you, oh, so you're clearly one of them. But if you're limping
Right.
and your body's inflamed and in pain, they can't see that. So you just have a noticeable limp. Oh, you probably just tripped over your cat. You're not
Right.
you're not really. You went too hard in the gym or something, right? But they don't. Or mental health, right? Like that's one that's always controversial because we all have it. It's just some people have it severe, and it's one of the major disabilities that people will say, oh, you're faking it, right? Or just get over it, or
Right.
rub some dirt on it, take a pill.
Yep.
But there are some people who really are petrified of leaving their house, so they can't work, at least on the outside.
Yeah.
And so convincing the system that they deserve disability is very hard.
True.
But so now, like, aside from disability, what made you get into rapping? Because you sound like every like dad, so it's funny because you just sound like just a nice sweet dude who probably wouldn't even listen to rap music. So
Oh, that's
yeah, so
no.
yeah,
I got into rap music probably back in like the late '90s and stuff,
okay,
and I was really like influenced by like Master P and the Insane Clown Posse and Tech Nine and actually Green Day, if you can believe it or not. I actually talk about like that whole thing in the book that I wrote, and like I guess it is kind of funny. Like I kind of like take the whole rapper trope and just throw it out the window. I don't play any of that bullshit games.
right,
I'm not like one of those Bentley riding, like chain wearing guys. That's not me. That's not the kind of music I make.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like successful Jelly Roll is now because he started
Oh,
off as a rapper, and
I was just gonna say that. Jelly Roll was a rapper, right?
yeah, and he had a couple hits for his rock music, and
Yep.
he had a few hits here and there with some of his rap, but that was probably his least notable like music, even though he was
Yep.
a decent rapper. But didn't he come up with was it 3-6 Mafia, I think it was.
He came like Lil White from like Hypnotized Mind,
Yeah.
from like Six Mafia's whole like camp of people. But actually, Jelly Roll used to perform at ICP's concerts and stuff too. Jelly Roll was a juggalo.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's like he's literally all over the place. Like you just
yeah,
and like he will do his country, and then all of a sudden now Eminem is covering one of his songs, or
crazy.
and he's yeah. But I will say this is the first time I can actually openly talk about Tech Nine, because I don't. I mean, there are people who've been on my show that know Tech Nine, but it's not like, oh yeah, that guy. It.
Oh, no, I know all about. Listen, I know all about all kinds of shit, and I was so surprised when you said that you knew these people. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
wow.
Well, because like I see again, I'm not really into the jewelry flashing and all that either. Like some of it's all right, but I'm more of a lyricist person. So like I grew up on like Eminem and Biggie and people like that, and then as I
Right.
got older, I really started to delve into people that aren't as notable. And one person that always kept coming up is Tech Nine, because he was like what
Oh,
they call a rapper's rapper, right? And then I
yeah.
started listening to his music, and I'm like, this guy puts out like he has like 30 albums, and like 20 of them are great, right? Like he's just
Yep.
putting out music, and he gets everybody. He got Eminem, he gets Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, like he gets everybody, and everybody
Yep.
knows him, everyone loves him, and he's more successful than most rappers that pretend to be.
True.
And he's one of those people who is not sold out. He does what he wants. He wants to come out dressed like a clown. If he wants,
True.
if he wants to paint, he does whatever. And so when people like, and this, because I don't like when people say like, who's your 10 favorite rappers. To me, I think when it just comes down to it, like you could say your personal preference, who you think, and a lot of it's perspective, but if you have a top 10 and Tech Nine isn't in it, I don't really acknowledge it, because a lot of people will say people like Drake and all these other random people. I'm like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, if your
Yeah.
criteria on is just fame, then sure. If your criteria is just on lyrics, sure. Like, there's certain things for certain people, right? Like, and
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying Tech Nine should be near the top spot, because he's still like way behind as far as just other criteria when it comes like just off of lyrical ability and just talent and all that. Like he's up there with anybody, but
Yeah.
his longevity is crazy, because he might be the most successful underground rapper.
Yeah. He may very well be, because he has worked with all those names that you listed, and what he's done is absolutely crazy. Everything's on his terms. It's not selling out if it's on your own terms.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think,
Yeah.
look, like Eminem started off underground, but he's the furthest thing from underground, right? He's as
Right.
famous as it gets, right?
Yep.
Everybody, Kendrick Lamar, they all start off underground somewhere, but they don't
Right.
stay underground. And
Right.
Kendrick or Tech Nine has just owned it. He's just like, yeah, like this is like I mean, it's almost hard to call him underground, because he's a millionaire. He's made so much money and he's made so many projects, but he's still not known like a lot of these rappers who are not even good, and
Correct.
all these Littles and Youngs and all that, right? And like
Yep.
he's as famous as he's made way more money than majority of them put together, and everybody who is more famous than him loves him.
Yes.
And so like he's one of those people. Like I love that you've been around people that know him, because it's like he puts on all his people too, and then
Yeah.
he shows love to YouTubers who rap. He shows love to the up and comers. He shows love to the legends. Like he's just one of those people that I feel like
He is.
I wish I could meet him someday, because I wish he could hear this, because like I don't think enough people really show him enough love and respect for how talented he actually is.
Yes. The man has immense amounts of talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For
The
sure.
guy is so talented. I mean, there's nothing that you can say that's bad about him. I mean, his flow and everything is just great. And what's actually, you probably listen to music differently than a lot of people, because your audio sensory is probably better than most.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's one of those people, and we can get off it because this is about you, but
Yeah.
he's one of those people, because you and I can shoot the shit anytime. So I hope you know
Yeah.
I'd like to stay friends after this.
Okay.
But he's one of those people that raps really fast, or he does at
Yeah.
times, and he actually says something. There's a lot of people that rap fast, and they're just putting syllables together, and it's talented. It takes some talent to do that, but at the same time, they're really not saying anything. So it's more about, they just go, it's the ooh and ah, like, ooh. But it's
Right.
like, he didn't say shit. But Tech Nine actually talks about stuff.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And actually, I'm telling you, you would love my music because I actually tell a story in my music. So I'm not one of those rappers. That is not me.
Good.
I'm more like that's like who I was influenced by and stuff like that. So
Cool.
I mean, and actually, to tell you the truth, I made a soundtrack to this book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I talk about these specific songs, and I didn't even mean to do it. I kind of like wrote about these specific songs, and I'm like, holy shit, I wrote about these songs. Let me put these songs on like a compilation CD and call it the soundtrack for the book. So I did that. So that's up. And actually, you probably listen to Audible, don't you?
Sometimes.
Well, I'll give you a code for an Audible if you're down to listen to it.
Sure.
Yeah. So I can give you an Audible code and shit too.
Awesome.
So, but music, the soundtrack is out on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and shit. And then like I'm coming out with a limited edition vinyl record. I'm only pressing 25 copies of them.
Okay.
And I got them online right now. They're going to come out on August 12th, which is National Vinyl Record Day. So that's actually something pretty cool. I'm doing something for the fans.
Sure. Do you have a website?
Yeah. Yes. My website is B-Cide. I spell it like homicide.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. And you said your music is on Apple, Spotify, all that?
All that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go check it out when we get off of here.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'll be honest with you, just moving to just music as a whole. Forget hip hop, forget just music as a whole. Like, the reason why Jelly Roll resonates with me is because he talks about real life shit. Like, he talks about addiction, suicide, mental health. Like, he talks about all that.
Yep.
And betrayal and all that. Like, he talks about real life shit. Other than people that I already listen to, like Eminem or Kendrick Lamar or people like that. Other than that, like, I couldn't tell you, like, honestly, I think the newest artist that I started listening to is Jelly Roll, and I started listening to him a couple of years ago, but
okay.
I can't tell you the last new artist that kind of blew me away, like an Adele or whoever, you know, from any genre. And I'm like, whether it's mainstream, like, or not. I try and I scrape and I try to find new people that like just like interest me or says anything that I can feel, and a lot of it is just like, okay, like I like the harmony, I like the beat, or I like this, but it's usually not the whole package. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's not. And nowadays it just, and I'm not trying to be like the old grandpa, but it's like it seems like every song now is just overly produced, overly sampled, and overly modulated with different voices. No one can actually sing. No one, like, and there's a lot of like what they call crooning. Like, they consider them rappers, like Travis Scott. Like, they consider those people rappers, but they don't even write their own lyrics and they don't really rap. So it's music is just awful right now. And so like when we go back and we look at like MC Hammer and we look at Vanilla Ice, if you played those songs, they're better than everything on the radio right now.
They totally are.
If you listen to Ice Ice Baby, it's not that bad of a lyrical song. It's not amazing, but it's way better than most of what you hear on the radio.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a wrestling fan, right? Like WWE and stuff.
Me too.
So I was watching WrestleMania.
Okay.
They had this fucking song by Travis Scott called "Fiend."
Yeah.
That they played 1,000 times.
Yeah, he did.
And I wanted to rip my hair out.
Yeah. And he's a person that's notorious for treating his fans like shit. And they made him a huge, and that was what was so bad about that John Cena Cody Rhodes match, is one, John Cena didn't look that great, but also the whole turn at the end is Travis Scott intervenes just so Cody Rhodes can kick his ass.
Right.
It's like you should have done better by Cody Rhodes, because he was doing so great, and you ruined it and he's probably going to get his revenge eventually, but at the end, and I can't believe this is why we were meant to be friends, because we can go from rap to wrestling.
That's hysterical.
But I think, I mean, like, not even go too deep into the wrestling thing, right? Like, I think one of the biggest things, one of the most important things is being well-rounded in life, right? Like, having living experiences, but, like, just not being uncomfortable. Like, I don't talk about politics, but if somebody was like, hey, what's your take? I would throw an opinion, even though it's not my forte, right? Like, I'll talk about, and you could literally bring up, who do you think is the hottest porn actresses? Like, I can go anywhere you want. Weird or not, I can just go down a road of wherever you want to go, whether it's debauchery, whether it's wrestling, and I think that's very important for people to just live life and get beyond their comfort zone. Like, just don't live within where you were born. Because I think for me, I always said this, if I ever have a kid, I want he or she to grow up, and I want to teach them their morals, teach them to be respectful and treat people the same. But as far as who they believe in, as far as a god or a deity, they learn that for themselves. As far as who they vote for, let them learn that themselves. Like, I don't want to beat anything into my children's head. I want them to live their life how they want to live it, without any peer pressure.
I hear you.
So yeah, but yeah, we'll talk about wrestling outside of this, but I can do that all day too.
That's fun.
But yeah, is there anything else, my friend, that you want to really delve into? You can talk about anything. It's your story, so.
No, well, I'll tell you what. I wasn't expecting this to go like this. To tell you the God's honest truth, because I just got on Podmatch, right? And my whole story and everything, dude. I have gotten already matched with like 17 different podcasts that want me on. Okay. So, and I have never done different types of podcasts except for like ICP and underground type of podcast. So I wasn't sure what this was going to be like. And dude, you totally blew my expectations out of the water. Awesome. Thank you.
No, of course. Yeah. Like I said, I've probably haven't been around the world as much as you have, but I've experienced a lot in life, and I try to, I always talk about this. Like, my sister's half Puerto Rican, so I grew up in the Spanish culture, even though I'm a white boy. Like, my friends were all different ethnicities, and I've always been around a lot of people with different disabilities, including having one myself, or two with the mental health. And just in general, I've just seen a lot, and I don't. There's times that I'll look into things that are really things that I don't like, right? Like, I'll see somebody saying awful things about white people, and I just want to hear, like, why he thinks the way he does. That doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean whatever. Like, sometimes I just want to know how people think, for better or for worse. And so I will delve into things that I just wouldn't normally get into because, it's just, I just find it interesting. Like, my two favorite sitcoms of all time is Everybody Loves Raymond and Martin. They couldn't be more opposite.
Those are total opposites.
Total opposite, and not just because of the color. They're just total opposites. They're the only thing they have in common is it's a family, sort of, family-related show, sort of. More Everybody
loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's an amazing show, but it's like, but like everybody now, all they know is what's the nerd show? What's the one with all the nerds, and then there's like the hot girl that lives with them?
What the hell is it called? Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, everyone talks about that shit, and I go, I don't get it. I don't like. Yeah. We get it. There's a hot girl, and there's a bunch of nerds, and one of them's gay, and everything's wacky. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but, I never really got into. that. I got into Breaking Bad hard.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bad's amazing. But that's not a sitcom. That's just an amazing show. My two shows of all time are Breaking Bad and The Sopranos. Like, it's.
Yeah, I never got into The Sopranos.
Yeah, you got to give that a try.
Yeah, I should have, because my buddy used to watch it all the time. He used to have HBO and everything, and I never had HBO. It wasn't like it is now,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's
one. Give that a shot.
Yeah, it's on HBO, and it's one of those. I think it's pretty much the consensus. The two greatest character actors that played one character for a long time is Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad, and then James Gandolfini in The Sopranos. James
Gandolfini, yeah.
And he died, unfortunately, but he played that role, and he was amazing. And there's some scenes in that show that there's one episode towards the end of the show where it's just him and his wife fighting. And it's the most realistic fight, not like fist fighting, but just screaming. He punches a hole in a wall because he just cheated on his wife with a woman with one leg, And she just she just got so tired. She knew he was been sleeping with all these people, and she looks down on this girl who has one leg, and she's just like, and she's just yelling, "You fuck this girl with one leg. What is wrong with me?" And they're just like off and on throughout the episode, and it's I'm like, my mom, minus the one-legged girl thing, my mom and dad have had these fights right in front of me. Like, it's the most, to me, like The Sopranos, like, yes, there's a lot of crazy shit in there too. There's a lot of violence and whatnot, but there's sometimes in the, like, it's so character driven, and it's so, like, there's times where, like, when Tony Soprano, he gets shot in the show and he's just healing, and he barely can talk. I think actually he's in a coma, and his wife and daughter are just talking about where they parked. And I'm just like, this is so fucking fascinating, and I don't know why, because if this was some other show, I probably would be like, this is dog shit. But because it's so well acted, and because it feels so realistic, so then when the show actually ends, it's like, because the whole thing is like, you know, it's a known thing how the show ends, where it just fades to black. And I think it just felt like we were taken out of that universe. Like, no, we no longer get to see how these people live. And I think that's why it's such a hard way to end, because you're like, man, I want it. They're just eating food, and two people pull up in the restaurant. You don't know if they get shot. You don't know what happens. It just cuts off, and you're like, it's what you feel like you're missing something. Like, you need more.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So it's a great show. I would check it out. And if you like all the things that you said that you like, and I like all those things, I guarantee you'll like The Sopranos.
Yeah, I bet I would, because I know my buddy used to watch it, and I would watch episodes here and there, but I never really got into it like as a whole and shit. So
right, and there's like 7 seasons, and it is done, so you can watch it at your leisure. Like, you don't have to worry about next week or in a month they're going to be releasing new episodes. Like, it's done.
Right.
But anyway, my friend, why don't you put out your website again and just say where you can find your music and all that, and we can wrap up, and we'll wrap up off air.
Absolutely. You can check out my website. Just go to b-cide.com. You can find everything. You can find the book there. You can find my music there, all the links to Spotify, Apple Music, all that shit. And you can find links to buy the vinyl, and you can find links to everything. Yeah, I got links for everything. Like, I'm really promoting this book right now, and the link's up there to buy it on Amazon, and you can go for it. It's on Kindle, it's on paperback, it's on Audible, and I have a soundtrack to it. So awesome. That's what I got going on. Yeah.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I appreciate you, and don't hang up. I'm just going to wrap up the podcast, and
okay.
But I really appreciate you coming on, my friend. And like I said, it's good now. We're newfound friends. So like I said, you need anything, I'm around, my friend. And if you need somebody to talk to, if you're struggling, just know I'm here.
Cool. I got you locked in my phone, brother.
All righty.